Before Eddie, you had to sort your clips, cut your talking head, hunt for matching B-roll, and place every piece at the perfect timestamp yourself. Now you just upload your footage to Eddie, and overnight it does the whole edit. In the morning, you open the finished project in Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, or DaVinci Resolve. Eddie takes away the hard part, so you can spend time on the part that actually matters, the creative one. It connects directly with Claude or ChatGPT, understands your B-roll in real detail, and it's the most powerful AI video assistant I've used.
Currently, you even get 1,000 credits for free when signing up. That's enough to try it on your first project.
Let me show you exactly how you can use it in 5 steps. Step 1. You drop your footage in. All of it. Talking head takes, B-roll, everything you shot, and you don't have to sort any of your footage. That already was the only manual step that involves touching your files directly. Everything after this happens through a conversation, either through Eddie itself or through Claude or ChatGPT. That's where we get to step 2. You connect Eddie to Claude or ChatGPT as a custom connector. You just use one link, paste it, and that's all you had to do. From here, your AI has direct access to your Eddie projects. If you want uninterrupted editing workflows, you could set Eddie's permission to always allow. Step 3, you tell it what you want. Not through menus, just through simple prompts. Step 3, in the Eddie MCP interface. After you uploaded your files, you can find suggestions. These are template recipes or prompts that you can use for different kind of videos. If you don't find a recipe that fits your video style, don't worry, just click one of those, for example, the Claude button, and it will open up in Claude. And this is where you can actually adjust the prompt. Eddie constantly wants to add new recipes, so there's always something that matches your video style. For my first test, I gave Eddie a talking head video full of pauses, restarts, and the usual mess of shooting alone. I asked for a clean pass, and then a B-roll pass on top. Actually, this should be a review of the Ugreen NAS system that I've shot recently. I used a pretty long prompt for this video that also was created with Claude actually, and I will put all the prompts that I've used down in the description for you to try. Now you see how fast this goes. We already are at step 4. You just let it run. And this is also where it earned the claim I opened with. Once Eddie's run was over, I realized Eddie looked at every single B-roll clip and worked out on its own what was actually in the frame. It doesn't just tag it as product shot or close up, it really read the details of the video, it described the shot, and it also has text recognition, so it really recognizes everything that can be found in the video. One clip, for example, is a slider shot of the connection ports of the Ugreen NAS system. And Eddie easily tagged the exact layout of these ports easily. SD, USB-C, USB 3.2, it really understood the frame and the whole video. It also did something I still can't fully explain. One clip is a screen recording of the Ugreen OS. No logo in the frame, no label about it anywhere, and Eddie still tagged it correctly regardless as Ugreen OS. The only explanation I've got is that somewhere in my talking head footage I describe what the interface looks like. And maybe Eddie connected the two. It used what I said to understand what I filmed. And one example that actually made me sit back is a close-up of the Ugreen NAS system of the 4 trays in the foreground. It's really hard to actually understand what the frame is about, but Eddie identified it as my hand pulling a drive tray out of the NAS enclosure. So it understood the physical action out of a few frames of motion. Now the good news is when Eddie finished your edit, you can open it in any NLE. I downloaded it for Adobe Premiere and opened it. And again, I was impressed by what I found. When I mentioned in the talking head that the NAS has an SD card slot, it cut in B-roll of me inserting an SD card. When I said you could share files straight from the NAS, it used my own screen recording of me walking through that exact process. And when I said the NAS had gold accents, it cut to a close-up where you can actually see the bronzy golden accents. I pushed it further on 2 more tests using that same recipe system. First, a long form to short form prompt. I handed over an entire long form video, which you might know as my Hasselblad X2D Mark II 100C review, with the music included, sound design, everything still baked into the video, like the final YouTube video. Eddie's goal was to repace and cut down this long form video to make it feel like a native short form, instead to easily post on my socials. And of course, that worked as well. And it worked actually pretty good. What I would recommend you is to use long form videos without the music baked in. Otherwise you will have the cuts from the music inside. So if you cut down long form videos to short form, I recommend you to just export it with your voice, with the sound effects. That's it. And then still for the same video, I used Claude again for Eddie to pull a short edit covering only the Hasselblad's core features. It found every relevant moment across that entire review and built the cut based on the KSPs of the product, of my favorite features, and it worked out so good again. Now the last test was a long form video again. I gave Eddie one MP4 file that contained many of my favorite drone clips from my Socotra trip. So it was just those color graded drone clips together in one file, and I just told Eddie to build a cinematic short form piece from it. So it built the rhythm, it selected the best shots, it did fast cuts, tight timing, and it was ready to post. I tried different styles and different paces. Some of them were actually too fast, but one specific pace was pretty good. And what I recommend you to do beforehand actually is to choose a song by yourself that you want to use for the short form video. Find out the BPM with Claude, ChatGPT or whatsoever, and then also input the BPM into Eddie. So Eddie knows exactly how fast the cuts have to be, at which point it has to cut, and then you get the final video, you put the music in the Instagram app just below the video, maybe add a text into the hook, and your short form video is done. Now step 5 is that last step that actually depends a bit more on you. It's the creative side, because as I said, Eddie allows you to export straight into your NLE. Final Cut, Premiere, Resolve, whichever you run, and this is where you take over. Color, sound design, the final pacing calls, and that's the part that's actually yours and will still separate you from any other YouTuber, content creator, or filmmaker. Eddie hands you a finished starting point and you can use it and don't just see it as a finished video. Is it perfect? No. It probably, for my tech review, added 80 to 90% of the B-roll perfectly, but the last 10 to 20% were still missing and I had to put them in separately. However, that's still 80 or 90% of time saved. And Eddie finally is a tool that does all of this really well, because I didn't find any other AI tool yet that understands the context behind your B-roll and your talking head so well like Eddie does. Everything you need to try it yourself is linked down below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. So we see each other in the next one. Happy creating.